Hello, hello. How is everybody today? My name is Devin Hunter. You are watching Modern Witch Living. This is the show where I get to connect with you, my readers, people who listen to my podcast, and we just get to be real people talking about real stuff, mostly how to be witches in reality, where reality is full of just insanity all the time. Anyway, hi, welcome to the show. If that sounds like stuff you're into, grab a cuppa. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff today. And I was smart. This time I made a list, which is really exciting. So I don't actually forget stuff. And then if I say, oh, we'll talk about this later in the show, I'm going to try to write it down so that we actually do talk about it later. But anyway, there's all kinds of fun stuff going on because spring has sprung. And I have my coffee and I've got my Mountain Dew and I've got some water. So I've got all three kind of liquid things going on here. So between spring energy and all of the caffeine surging through my system, I'm hoping I can wake up because last night I did not sleep well. I think it was the Pisces new moon energy stuff going on. And here in the States, we had daylight savings time hit, which is stupid. But yeah, so daylight savings time, which meant I lost an hour. So at one point, I was up all night long working on this shawl piece that you see in the back. And at one point, I looked up and I realized it was an hour later than I had expected. And it was just like, ugh. So super annoying. But it ended up meaning that I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. And then when I did sleep, it was, again, Pisces moon, new moon energy. I have a Pisces natal moon. So it whenever the moon goes into Pisces, it just kind of messes with me a little bit. And so, yeah, so I was dreaming all kinds of dreams last night. And poor Matt had to wake me up. It was like a thing. So that's all. I didn't sleep well last night. So today I'm really tired. I've got a presentation later on at 7:00 my time for Botanica Obscura, which is Kobe Michael's event that he puts on. And it's mostly about the poison path and things like that. But it's a really good time. I think this is my third year, doing something there, and it's always a really good time. I'm the last person to go, so I imagine everyone's going to be really tired. I know I'm going to be really tired, but we're talking about divination and houseplants and how you can work with houseplants in divination. And again, in my new book, Houseplant Horticulture, I have a whole divination system that I created and I put in there. So I'm going to talk about that tonight. And I got to debut that at the International Divination event, Tide, which was really cool. And so that was 2 years ago, I think, a year ago, maybe last year. I don't know if Michelle or Roger or any of the crew is watching. When was Tide? When was I there for Tide? But I got to release it and it was super cool and super fun. So I'm going to be doing some of that stuff tonight, and then I have a 2,000 word article that I have to start and complete tonight before I go to bed. So there's a lot to do. Caffeine is definitely going to be needed and important. Anyway, so let's talk about spring. So I am really excited because, like I said, the spring energy is definitely here. And the part of the US that I live in is it's zone 9.5. And so we have it's really weird. It is really, really weird. Our winter season is super short. Our planting season is pretty long, so we actually can get a couple of rotations out. And so it's kind of interesting. So with crops and things, there's a lot going on. California pumps out a lot of food because of that, especially in my region. And it's an interesting place to live if you're into plants, because it is so dry, and it's just so dry here. I mean, just every part of California is dry. Except for the coast or the places that are the wine country, things like that, where it's still dry, but at least they get fog and stuff. And we have the redwoods here. It's so dry that the redwoods here have actually developed the ability to absorb moisture through their leaves. And so they actually drink water from the fog, which is really cool. So when you see the redwoods and there's fog rippling off of them, they're actually drinking that. It's really neat. Anyway, but it's really weird. So if you live in a house, it is hard to keep things like humidity up and all that good stuff. So when things go dormant for the year, it is really nice actually. It's like between late fall, which is like for us, it's like November through right about now. Everything goes dormant and it's really quiet, and I don't have to do a whole lot of plant maintenance, which is fantastic, inside or outside. The indoor plants have definitely, they know it's spring. Like there's without question things are starting to like happen. All of my ZZ plants have, and I've got a bunch because I collect ZZs, and so they've all started shooting off new spikes already. It's all really exciting. So, and most of my succulents have started to put off new growth too. So that's pretty cool. So with that, we've got, so there's a lot of stuff that needs maintenance all of a sudden. I have to flush pots. I have to repot things. Like all of that is starting to happen now, which when you've got, like we have, when we counted last, which was in October, we had well over 400 houseplants. And then whatever, I can't remember the exact number, but it was over 400. And I'm sure we have more now because I've been propagating. And then whatever else is going on outside, which is a whole other like mess, which we'll talk about in a second. So there's a lot to do. There's a lot of babies to take care of. And I don't mind doing it. I love doing it, but it is time consuming. And when you've got like writing projects, which I'm going to talk about some of my writing projects here in a little bit. But when you've got writing projects and you've got a book that's about to launch, it's like everything is, it's a lot. There's a lot going on. And we had birthdays this week. Both Matt and Storm had birthdays this past week. So it was a lot of just like baking and taking care of men and, you know, that kind of a thing. Like, can I make you a sandwich? Can I make you because you do that stuff, right? For your partners when it's their birthday. So, but Matt and Storm are back to back though. So I think Storm was on like Tuesday and Matt was on Wednesday. So it was a lot of birthday stuff, going on. And so with that, and then I've been in meetings with Llewellyn, and I've been meetings with two people who I'm working on collabs with, which I keep teasing about this, but it's really big deal stuff, which I will be able to talk about this week, I think, because I think I'm getting one of the things in the mail, and then I'll show you what's going on. But anyway, so been a busy week, and today is the last day of that week, and I'm hoping tomorrow I've got like one meeting, and then otherwise I'm really just hoping to switch gears, get a bunch of writing done, and focus on whips, because it is time to do whips. But I also have videos. Oh, there's so much to do, folks. Friends, send me good vibes this week because there's stuff going on. All right, so back to spring. So there's a lot to do. There's a lot to repot. There's a lot to take care of. I found this really cool thing. I was looking for it, but I guess it's downstairs. I will try to grab it because the next episode, so for next week, I want to do some spring shopping with you guys, specifically like bulbs and figuring out what plants to be getting in, because this is the time to do it. I was at where did we go? I think we went to Tractor Supply to get some stuff for the chickens, and I found this already out. So these are just elephant ears, but I'm addicted to elephant ears, and you're about to find this out, my friends, because I am not holding anything back. But I love like any elephant ear, and the elephant ear families include calicaceas, alocasias, caladiums, and then there's another one in the family that's just kind of out there that we don't really get out here in the States. But they're the big giant, they look like big elephant ears, so big hearts. So I'm really into these. And a couple of years ago, because you can get these, by the way, the reason I'm bringing this up here, you can buy these right now. This was $10, $9.99 for a 3-pack. These are huge bulbs. These bulbs can produce leaves the size of my torso, just automatically. So, and then they just get bigger and bigger as the year goes on. So I'm like, heck yeah. So I bought a couple of these, I want to say like 5 years ago. We put them in a big terracotta pot we put them next to the pond out in the back, and they just go nuts every year. So, and it's something that Chaz wasn't really into. Chaz is my garden buddy. Chaz is the Taurus in the family, so he's the one that I do pretty much anything that's like homey or good, like any of that. I do it all with him. So he wasn't really keen on it because I was starting to like bring elephant ears of different varieties into the garden, and he was like, "What are you doing?" Because we had a very different vibe before. It was kind of more of like a forest vibe and less of a jungle vibe out there. So when I came around and I started messing with stuff, I was like, no, I want big, luscious leaves. This is foliage is everything, darling. Like, I'm that guy. Can you hear the motorcycle that just ripped through the neighborhood? People. Anyway, so he wasn't keen on it, but then they started producing like these massive leaves, and he was like, okay, I'm here for this. So this year and he loves it every year, and he's actually grown quite fond of them. So I picked up 3 bulbs. I'm going to do the same thing, I think. I'm going to just put them in a big terracotta pot and just let them go nuts. Because here's the thing with this. I don't have a big pond. I've got like a little mini pond, basically. I think it's like 4 by 5 feet or something like that. If I had a bigger pond, I would plant these as marginals, like right there when the water and the land kind of meet. Like I'd plant them right along that line, and they would get huge. And they would be delicious and they would love it there. But I don't have that kind of space. So I have to keep them in pots. And if I keep them in pots, what that allows me to do is really make sure that they're watered, really make sure that they have what they need, because these folks do not like to dry out. They have, out of all of the colocaceas, this particular variety, these just basic elephant ears that you get they're taro. So when you get like taro root chips, this is what this is. So you can find them all over the place. You can find them as produce. You can find them in produce markets right now. Like you can go get it. You can get the stuff. So, and it's a whole process, by the way. So if you're going to eat this, you have to actually like grow them and then cut them up and cook them a certain way, or else they actually can be toxic for you. But they are traditional food and people eat them all over the world. But anyway, so you can get these and you can have them indoor or out. And what I haven't been able to do is move the ones that are outdoors now because during wintertime, they don't have to go dormant. Like here, we can bring them in and they won't go dormant. So, which is what I do with my caladiums this year. But anyway, so I've got those. I'm going to do this so I can actually bring this in, and I'm just going to try to get them to be as big as I possibly can. So we'll see what happens with that. But so far, that's the only bulbage that I bought for the spring season. So in the next episode, I want to sit down with you and go through some catalogs and figure out like, what do we want to bring? What do we want to invest in? Because, this year I definitely want to do more of my caladiums and my elephant ears, because I do well with them. And so why not like just fill your garden with things that you do well with? But I'm also, because my philodendron collection has grown so large, and the plants themselves, like this is why I'm not bringing pots on to show you, because everything's just in these huge, they're just big. I can't bring them on screen. So I'm gonna have to take video and then like montage it and show you guys. But I have huge philodendrons, and they're all waking up now because it's springtime. So I have to do something. And so what I think I'm going to try to do is pull them outdoors for the most of the year, and especially like this time of year, once it hits 45 degrees, like it doesn't drop below 45 degrees, it's safe to put plants out. So that's what I'm going to do. And so like consistently, we don't get frosts really where I'm at. Like I feel pretty confident. So, and if I do, we'll just pull them back in for the night. But I think I'm going to I have 35 different philodendrons that need to be like taken out and put outside. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's what I think is going to happen. And it's just a lot of work. But anyway, so that's part of the like stuff that I have to do. What's really cool is I did get caladium bulbs. So caladium bulbs, I wanted to show you. So this is the Fiesta. So if you see Caladium Fiesta, this is the first to sprout last year. So the time to buy bulbs, really, like if you're gonna buy a lot of them, the time to buy bulbs, especially caladiums and colocaceas and other related plants, is really like in the fall, because they start to go dormant. And so like fall winter, or you pre-order them rather, they start to go dormant. They pull them from, like, the growers will pull them, dry them out, and then they ship them out. And then when the weather's ready, you plant them, and then you have them for spring. So the time to really get them is at the end of the year, the previous year, because there's a much greater variety. If you wait longer, so I'm bringing all this up now because you can go now and you still have a pretty decent variety pack. But at the end of this month, towards the next month, you won't be able to find a lot of bulbs pretty much anywhere, especially like ones that you have a choice with variety. Soon you're going to be down to like 3 basic types of colocacia, and they'll be everywhere, which is like the Christmas, the there's like a party time, I think, and then there's one that's like Miss Moffat, and those are the three you'll find everywhere. But you're not going to find any really variety. So if you're into variety, now's the time. There are gorgeous caladiums. Like there are some really beautiful ones. So last year I pre-ordered, I got them in, and 2 or 3 weeks ago, I planted them. No, I would say a month ago I planted them, and I've had them growing in a grow tent, and now they're starting to sprout. So I wanted to show you. But so this is what the first to sprout are. That's what they look like. And definitely soon going to be, I would say, in a month, I'll probably be ready to repot them. Like they'll probably be shooting roots out the bottom and ready to go. So I've got 2 flats, I think, of those of different varieties that are ready to go. And I'll show you them as they're popping out because I got some really gorgeous ones. And the plan is definitely to keep some to grow indoors because I'm doing that really well. So I have a beautiful caladium thing going on. I've been cleaning and taking things out, so or else I would show you because it's right across the way here. But gorgeousness going on. I love caladiums. I love those big elephant ears. I love the variegation that you get from them because you end up, especially if you're working with them in magic, like variegation becomes a very important thing for me, for my divination stuff. So having the variety just right there in the studio is really cool. So that's the goal. And then have 1 or 2 of each and then take everything else outside and just let them kind of be. So a lot going on. There's like, spring has sprung, my loves, without question. So next episode, I want to sit down with you and go over what to get for our gardens. And so if you have questions about what you should be planting or what you should be doing indoors or outdoors, post them in the comments. And then before the next episode, which is be next Sunday, I will go through, I'll try to pull those, and then I'll try to answer any questions I possibly can about how to get your indoor plants ready, how to take care of things that you've been dealing with your indoor plants. Same thing with your outdoor plants. Like if it's a garden thing, I'm your guy. So we can totally talk about it next week. So post your questions, and I would absolutely love to help you find a way through whatever problem the planty world has presented to you. Okay, so there's that. All right. So the next thing on my list is to talk about the writing projects that I've got going on. So I just got notes back for the current manuscript that there's 2 manuscripts that are in the works over at Llewellyn right now. I can't talk about one of them, but I can talk about one of them. So what I will do, I should take we're starting a live soon now thing away. But so what I will do is say that I can talk about Bad Vibes, which is the one that I just got notes back on. And that is really cool. So Bad Vibes is we're currently defining its essence right now because it isn't as clear as we would like it to be, meaning that I tried to cover a little too much in it, and I don't want to reduce the content, and my editor doesn't want me either, so we just have to find a way to make sure it all works really well together. And it's really cool. It's been a difficult book to write, and the universe gives you that. So when you start writing books on the occult, or books in general, like whatever the topic is, you get challenged. Like your life, like the powers that be conspire against you, and you end up getting challenged in that topic. And so when it came to Bad Vibes, I had a bunch of bad vibes I had to deal with. Oh my goodness. And had to deal with those things, have dealt with them. That's been great. But part of that also meant that writing this book took a really long time, and things would happen and I'd have to drop it and go take care of crazy and, that kind of stuff. So being able to get to a point where it was finished and then sending it into the editor and beta readers and or beta readers, beta, blah, so get readers and going back and forth. It's been a whole thing. So, but I got notes back and I feel pretty good and we're moving forward. And so sometime next year, you'll get Bad Vibes, which will be really cool. And I'll let you know how that's going. So I got notes. So the process goes, you send in your manuscript, you get an editor, you get a team of editors that read it, and then they send you notes back. They're called vision notes. And once you get your vision notes, you then know how to edit it or make structural changes or add or subtract or do whatever you got to do to make it work. You get that level of notes back, and then you go and you you go to town on it. You do the thing. So I'm at that stage, and so the editor will get it back, and then she'll either say yay, nay, and then we'll move forward. And that's how we know. So that's happening now, which is really good. So I have, I think, like a month to get some edits done and get it sent in, and that's okay. That should be fine, but it's definitely like on the docket of things that are top priority, which means that things like, crochet projects aren't going to be happening as abundantly as they were in the past. I just finished up a foreword for Crystal Lawn's new book, which is Whispers from the Coven. And it is a really unique, trippy book. What can I say about it? It's about to come out, and what I really like about it is that Chris is great. Like, Chris is a phenomenal writer, and he's writing about topics that are very like shamanic and very psychic and very spiritually driven when it comes to his witchcraft and what he does with it. And so when he writes about stuff, he ends up going into places that a lot of people just don't, which is really exciting to read. And one of the things that he's been doing, he did it with his last book, and he did it with this book, is he's using fiction or storytelling as a tool to convey some of those things that get lost in translation when you write a nonfiction approach to like teaching magic or like a manual, right? So when we have to take this like psycho-spiritual experience that we have, and we have to break it down to these digestible bits, it's really difficult, and things get lost. Like I cannot share with you experience, right? Like it's just difficult. It doesn't matter how great of a writer you are. There's just limits to the medium that exist. So what Chris has done with this particular manuscript and with the last one is he's using fiction and storytelling to help kind of take you on a journey where you're learning the lessons, the magic. There's like he's got spells in every chapter. There's spirits, like it's all real, but he's kind of putting it together in the storytelling kind of way. It's not quite bardic, but it's got like bardic vibes to it. It's unique, it's different, it's in its own world, and I think it's really freaking cool. And it's the kind of stuff that like I've always wanted to do. And so he and I've talked about this over the years. So I think that's why he invited me to write, or he asked me to write the foreword. So it was just an honor to do it. It was an honor to read it. I'm going to have to sit down and read it a third time because I basically sped it twice because I wanted to make sure I knew what I was about to write a foreword to, right? And I didn't have a whole lot of time. So I had to do that pretty quickly, but I'm looking forward to reading it. And it might actually end up being a book club pick because it's so unique and it's so different. And I think he's doing something really cool. So yeah. So I just wrote that. And turned that in, and he gave me the thumbs up. He liked it, so we're doing good. Got 2 articles that are both due in the morning. So yeah, those are happening. One's for the Llewellyn Journal, and then one's for their website. The Llewellyn Journal pieces are like much longer. So that one I'm kind of chewing on because I don't want it to be like a lame thing. I'm very against it being lame. So, but when you write something that's in a bigger vein, like, I don't know, it's hard to just come up with cool stuff off the top of your head. But I've actually had like 3 weeks to do this. And of course I waited till the last minute. Ta-da. So anyway, this is the last minute. Hi. I mean, it's always like, hey, this is a problem for future Devin. Future Devin is current Devin now. And then the last thing that's on my writing project stuff that I want to share with you is that I do have a new book coming out, Houseplant Horticulture. It is sexy. It is so sexy. And I very much need people to go put it on their wish list. So if you get this, let me see if I can find a picture of it. I don't have it on this screen. That's interesting. But if you have the ability, go hop on over to the Amazons, go put it in your wish list. If you can't like buy it, if you can't pre-order, I totally get it. I understand things happen and you don't have to explain that to me, but you could put it in your wish list, and that also helps because that lets people know that it's a thing. So please take care of that if you haven't already, and I love you. Thank you. because it's coming out on the 7th, and that's less than a month away. Less than a month away. Yeah, it's a big thing. So I'm really excited about it, but also scared. I'm going to take a break. I just want to say hello to some people who have popped in. Hello, Tom. Good evening. Natalie, what is it? Shoemaker is saying hello, or joining us all the way over from Australia, South Australia. So like way down there. Hello and welcome. You're a new face to me here on the lives. Thanks for joining us. We've got a bunch of, again, if you're watching from the Facebook group, make sure you give StreamYard permission to see your name. We've got Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Love me some Michelle Welch. We got Wendy. Hi, Wendy. It's good to see you. I've got some Anna. Hello, Anna. Jen Sankey, my love. Good to see you. Ben, good to see you as well. Okay, everybody. I'm ready to talk about some crochet, some yarn, to go into the whips and the things that all of you have just come to expect of me. So let me tell you this. So I have been chewing really hard on this whole experience of bringing like yarn and fiber and making and crafting and stuff into the modern witch world. Like I have been chewing on this for a really long time. And so when I first started doing it, and really with these lives, right? So this is episode 5, I think, right? So it's really just been for about 6 weeks now that I've been pulling this into the modern witch world, and I've been very nervous. And part of this is that I really don't have plans for books or anything. Like there's none of that's in the works or any of that kind of stuff. And I know that people instantly are like, you're gonna write a book on it. I don't have plans for that. What I do have plans for more than anything is to honestly find ways of addressing this thing where if you are a witch and you've been around for a while and you're over the I gotta curse everybody because they pissed me off or they looked at me wrong, or you're over the I have to go recreate an ancient religion in order to if you're just in a place where you are a witch who just wants to exist and you just want to do your thing, it can be hard sometimes to find ways, or find excuses rather, to continue to practice magic like in a regular way where that helps make you feel connected and remain part of the universe in that bigger kind of way, right? And so I've always tried to address that in my work. I've always tried to bring this up because it's something that I feel the intermediate advanced audience never gets. They just don't get that love or attention, right? Like things aren't written for them. That part of the journey isn't really kind of honored or celebrated. It's like it's really all about getting super old, and that's great. And I want to get old and be a sage and all of that fun stuff for my community, but I ain't there yet. I got a lot of living to do. So how do I do that, right? And so that's what modern witch living is. This is just me being able to sit down and talk about these things. And one of the ways that I do that is through creating things, like making crafty things and pulling that into my spiritual life. So one of the things that I've got so many projects to share with you in that vein. But so one of the things I've been thinking about is this something that I want to make more of a thing, or is it something I want to make less of a thing? And like, how have people been reacting? And I gotta be honest with you, I think I want to make it more of a thing. And for so many reasons, so many reasons, more than anything, it's been bringing me a lot of peace. I love doing these lives. I have found that sometimes it's really hard to be consistent with the podcast. You all know, you've been following me for 14 years. It's hard to put a show out all the time. It's hard to go through that level of production, do all that stuff. Sometimes it's, at least from a consistent manner, it can be a really difficult thing to do unless you got a team. And I don't have a team. I got me, right? I am the team and I help other people. Like with their stuff. That's usually the way it goes. So this is fun because I just get to hit record and start talking to my friends, and the people who are showing up are definitely, I would say, like the core people. Like you're the people who are consistent and are there and remain consistent. And I love you. And I'm doing this part because I want to make sure I remain connected to you because you matter to me. But the other part of it is that just from a brain drain kind of perspective, this is great for me. Like I've really enjoyed sitting down and just kind of talking and not feeling like I have to produce for everybody. And that's really nice. I like to produce stuff and make fun videos and things, but I don't have to do that for you guys, and it's great. So I'm in this place where I think I want to do more of it. I want to do more of the crafting stuff, but I think it needs to be it needs to be structured in a kind of a more formal way when I go into that things. Cause I've already gotten questions about how do you do this? How do I da. We're not going to have time to do that kind of level of conversation here on this show, but I could do it perhaps in another. So I'm chewing on this idea of Modern Witch Studio, where it's specifically about making and patterns and like all the things, from doing stuff with crystals and crystal work and clay and cooking and candles and soaps and yarn and just all of it in one place. And I think that's going to be Modern Witch Studio. So that has been in the works. I'm saying it now because it's happening. Like that's something to expect very soon. I've got the first project already ready to go for that. And so I'm not going to talk about it today. You have to wait for the video. But I've got an Equinox altar cloth that I made, and I'm going to do a deconstruction. So it's one of the things with like patterns. I don't have time to write patterns, but I do have time to sit down and explain what I did and write a little like description up and something really basic, but like in-depth patterns are not going to happen anytime soon. But I can deconstruct it. I can show you the piece and I can break it down. And I think if you're beyond a beginner level, that's all you need. Like that's all I need for the most part, right? I mean, and then I can look things up if I need to look something up. That's part of being an intermediate skill level, is that you know how to look things up. But anyway, so that's coming, that's happening, and that's really where like the plant stuff, all that stuff is going to end up in that Modern Witch Studio kind of place. And I'm really excited about that because I feel like it is a nice cohesive kind of way of looking at it, right? Okay, anyway, so as you can see, this beautiful piece here, back here, this is the fluorite shawl that I started working on like a month ago. No, yeah, maybe a month ago. I want to say it was a month ago because I think maybe it's only been 3 weeks. Anyway, so I've been working on this fluorite shawl, and let me hold it down. So, haha. All right. This sucker is a beast. So this has been I think I've frogged the whole thing at least twice, right? Which also just tells you how good of fiber I'm working with when it comes. I will say Arcane Fiber Works the shit, and so really good yarn. And I've been able to take it out, like frog the whole thing, rip it all out, and then redo it, and it's been very, very nice. So this is really cool. All right. So what I did, and I'm going to end up ripping this whole thing apart right here and redoing it, because I created what's called a assigned pulling stitch over here, which took the green. So in this variegated yarn, I'm going to make it so you can actually see it. So in this variegated yarn here, there's green. Aha. And when you do an assigned pulling thing, you basically take a color that's in a variegated yarn, and you say, whenever this color shows up, I'm going to do a different stitch. That's basically it. So I did a spike stitch down, and it created this really cool 3-dimensional effect where instead of just having that kaleidoscope thing going on, it really makes this green pop out, and it looks like you're actually looking at a crystal. It's really cool. So I'm super happy with that. And that took a minute to just develop and figure out. Also, I had my numbers wrong, like how many stitches I needed on each side. I had that wrong, and I didn't realize it until I started putting pieces together. So this, out of like what I have created, I would say I made 20 pieces, 20 individual like of these hexes, and I had to frog most of them because I wanted to make sure I could measure how much of this variegated yarn I was using, because I want to be able to explain it to people, like if they want to do something like this. But my plan is to make this crystal basically pattern that I can repeat using different sets of colors. So that's the plan. And then I went through and I just started adding this little detail work around here last night. I'll have to clean it up a little bit. But yeah, so it's basically going to be this kaleidoscope thing. This is one side, and it is supposed to go on for another 1.5 feet, I think. This is like the halfway point is here of the piece, and then it'll go for another 1.5 feet this way, and then that way. And then I have to add fringe. That's going to be a thing on the side. And then I haven't decided if I want to. So I enjoy, like, when I make like shawls for people, I've made the triangle ones, I've made the long kind of rectangle ones, I've made circles, made the pentagram ones, like I've done a couple of different forms of shawls. And what I like are, especially when I think of like things that I want to design, so if I'm doing this in the hopes that I can create something that I can share with other people that they can make themselves for the purpose of as a spiritual craft, I'm instantly going. So the reason why I'm making this in particular for the person I'm making it for is that fluorite's an incredible stone. It's very healing. It's very, very healing, especially if there's anything that is like cellular, or if there's anything that has to do with like regeneration of psychic energies, things. It's a really great stone for regeneration and recuperation. It's a fantastic stone. So my thought just in general was like, ooh, I want to make that into I want to take this. And when I saw the colorway, I was like, oh, there's fluorite. So that was the original impetus, right? And then I started realizing that I could hide sigils in it. I could do all kinds of things to make it extra, right? To take it to that next place. So part of what's taking so long is that I'm doing like math I'm doing math to make sure that there is sacred numbers involved, and like it's a whole freaking thing, guys. Like, I'm really, really taking my time with this because, again, I'm making this as a magical item. But the other thing, of course, is that I am practicing and developing those skills up, right? So really being cautious and careful. So I've taken things and I've ripped them apart because they're not like, the sigil isn't going to be quite the way that I wanted it to be, or like when it's finished, or it's not going to be as hidden as I wanted it to be. Just things like that. So the hidden thing with all this is that in my head, the way that everything's going to be sewn together is the sigil. So that mattress stitch is going to be the sigil that goes through the entire piece. And it is there to disrupt on like bad vibes, basically, like frequencies, energies that are coming in to that's what I want it to do. So I want it to disperse that. So if the person's wearing it, not only do they have all this great regeneration energy, but they've also got this like shield, the sigil shield that's woven in from all of these different energies and all these different things, ritually, of course, right? To help dissipate and break apart vibrations that are coming in that are unwanted, that aren't going to be copacetic, right? So it's taking some time because I'm doing it. I want to do it to me, what I consider the right way, which I'm making that up as I go. So there's that. But when I started with the planned pulling stitch stuff last night, I was like, wow, damn it. This is too good. Like, this feels too good. The energy's too, like, it just was too good. Gotta yank it all out. So it's been a whole thing. So I will say, yeah, I've definitely like gone through a couple of versions of it. We'll just put it that way. So the yarn is incredible because it's maintaining, and it's a little like, I took a photo and it looks a little stretched, but as soon as I get to block it, it'll be fine. It'll shrink back up and it'll look gorgeous. But I'm really impressed. I'm impressed with the quality of the yarn. I'm impressed with the colors, especially in person. Like, photos, my ring light and my weird lit room just don't do it justice, like, by any means. But it's really pretty. I'm really happy about it. I'm very excited. So that has been taking up an obscene amount of time, as you might imagine. I think last night I worked on it for 8 hours. And so we are at 32 hours so far on that piece. But I'm actually close. I feel like I'm closer now to being done because now I know what I want it to look like. And I sketched it out. Sorry for that. Let me show you the sketch. So that's the sketch that I did for what I want it to look like. So we'll see. We'll see if I pull that off. But that's what's going on with that. I'm excited. I think it'll be fun. And I think, yeah, I think sorry for all the noise. I think it'll be done, and probably a week and a half, 2 weeks. So hopefully I'll have something to share with you. But it'll be fun. So I'm doing that, and then I will write a little thing out explaining what I did, do a video on what I did. And then I'm going to try to make a mini version that's just easier, like in general, same basic idea, but in a much smaller kind of 1 skein, maybe 2 skein project, and put that out there so that there's something that's more approachable for people, because I know that people do not like sewing. And this is something that I find fascinating, but it seems like people just are not here for the sewing of the constructed fabric pieces. I don't mind it. It's annoying, but I don't mind it. I actually like the level of control that you get. Anyway, so whatever. I think it's neat. I think it'll be very fun, and we'll see what happens. So that's happening with that. Okay. I have made no progress on the Dragon Magic make-along blanket at all. It has been sitting there. Part of why it's sitting there is that my wrist was hurting like real bad from overdoing things. So I've been carefully choosing where I'm putting my energy with like things like this small motor skills, because I don't want to cause a problem that I'm going to have for a long time. And I already from writing have messed this up. I was also a dancer for a long time, and this is the wrist that has had problems. So I am just trying to be careful. So I didn't do a whole lot of crochet work outside of the one project. I say a whole lot of crochet work, but I mean, let's be real. Yeah, it's probably this week I probably did about 20 hours of crochet. So but still, I took it easy compared to what it's been for the last couple of weeks. And I did a lot of shopping. I'm sure you're shocked, but I did very strategic shopping. It was not ridiculous. I was very careful. So something has come in. I will show you that stuff. So we'll go through that. That came in. I ordered something from Nitique, which I told you about in the last episode about this really cute yarn store that I found in Elk Grove, which is about an hour and a half away from here. And so I ordered something from them online because I won a prize. They do lives every morning. It's Tuesday through Saturday. They do lives every morning at 10 a.m. So I have my coffee. I am, not awake yet enough to deal with people. I don't want to watch the news, but those live streams are perfect. And so I will sit there and just watch the live streams, sip my coffee, and listen to women talk about making shirts I can't wear because they won't fit my body, and I just find it all fascinating, and I'm here for it, and I adore it. And so they're really, really sweet, and they're very responsive to like comments and questions, and they're just great. They even did spend some time in the last episode going through some mail patterns that we're going to take a look at here in a second. So, which is nice. So I did get something from them. So I won they give away these kits. So she's got like over 200 patterns in the Nitique collection. So she takes a pattern and she pairs it with yarn, and then she gives it away every day. And so I got one with this I thought it was actually something else I was getting, but it's okay. Like, this is great. This is merino. It's white. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. This is not a color that I would use or a yarn that I would normally use. So we'll see. I'll do something with it's soft and white, and it's like a size 6. So we'll see. I don't know. But I got that. And in order to get that, you have to order something, right? Or go in and get it. So I ended up ordering this, which is really pretty. So this I thought was going to be a pair to this. So this I had picked up there, and they're not bad together. Like, I think that actually that probably would be kind of cute together, actually. But yeah, not what I was like. Anyway, so this was one of their, let's see, what is this? This is 70% merino wool, 20% cashmere, 10% nylon, DK weight. So this feels smaller than a D. This is definitely light DK. I probably could do socks with this, which is actually good to know because I've been perseverating over sock yarn. So I got this there. I already showed you this last week. This I picked up thinking it would be a good pair to this, and Storm wants me to make him something out of this, so I thought it would be peacocky. It looked more peacocky online. When I got it, it was definitely more in the blue-green, and it's super cute, but not what I was expecting. So here's this. I love it. It's fun. So I got those. I don't have a plan for that yet. It's 270 yards. Yeah, 270 yards. So it's not quite enough to do a whole lot of anything, except for like a 1 skein, maybe 2 skein project, but we'll see. I got this, which is really cute. So these, I got a US 1 and then a US size 2, because I realized I didn't have the appropriate, I didn't have all the needles I needed for my knitting stuff that I was about to embark on. And of course it doesn't want you to open up super easily. There we go. I figured it out. So look at this. These are super cute. So this is from Knitter's Pride, and they're circular knitting needles, and they come with this really cute. The whole thing was like mindful. It's their mindful collection. Those are actually, it's way nicer than I thought it was going to be. Super cute, and it came with this little flower of life charm thingy, which is like a stitch marker. So that's cute. But so I'll be using these. I ordered this size and another size. I'll be using these to make socks, but also some of the shawls that I want to show you, because I am shawl crazy right now. Shawl crazy. Okay, so let's take a look at some patterns, shall we? Let me flip over to ta-da. Okay, so which one? Can we start off at the Modern Witch website? You should definitely check out modernwitch.com. There's all kinds of great things that happen there. But let's flip over to Ravelry. So if you don't know what Ravelry is, it is a website where people who are into crochet, knitting, felting, any of the fiber kind of crafts outside of sewing. There's no sewing things going on. But we all get together here and do patterns and tie. It's like MySpace for yarn, basically. So anyway, so it's a really great place. I avoided it like the plague for years, and I just recently signed up and started looking through patterns, and there are some really, really cool ones, and some that I'm super excited about, some that I'm a little nervous about. So the first one is, you know what? Let me go to, because I want to show you. So if you remember this yarn that I got last week, again, this is from Natique. So this is a smooshy cashmere. This is 400 yards of deliciousness, and it's green and pink. And I love green and pink for many, many reasons. But the only thing I could actually think to do with this is a shawl. So what I ended up getting was, let me go to my library real quick. The pattern is this. This is the shawl that I'm going to make with this. It's a 1 skein, and it does this really cute. Let me see if I can get a close up of the stitch. So it's an assigned pulling. Pulling meaning how the colors will pull together in a piece when you're knitting. So this is a knit piece. This will be one of my first knit pieces, my first official knit pieces. Yeah, so let me see if I can. So you can kind of see what the stitch is doing is it just gets bigger. And my thought is with this color scheme, it kind of look like Venus flytraps, right? Just with the big stitch there on the. So I'm gonna make this shawl as a 1 piece, and with this, and my hope is that it'll look like Venus flytraps. So this will be the Venus flytrap shawl, and I am excited, but I needed to get the right needle size, which I just got in. So I will be casting this on hopefully this week. And I hear it's a very quick because it's a very simple stitch. So here for that, I'm super excited. It'll look more along the lines of this, but with a darker green. And I think that's why I was like, oh yeah, this will look like Venus flytrap energy. So we'll see how it goes. So that's happening. That is a work in progress. I just picked that pattern up. Okay. So things that I'm definitely casting on for sure, I can show you now. So I'm going to do this clockwork shawl. This comes from Stephen West. He is, or they are, I don't actually know the pronoun situation in this case. And could be anyone, could be any gender identity really. I just know that Stephen West is awesome and makes some of the coolest knitwear patterns that I've ever seen, using some of the best use of shapes and textures and just great stuff. And it's not as overwhelming as a lot of his stuff looks. I hear it's not actually super hard to jump into. So this is one of the easier ones. This is called Clockwork, and this is a really beautiful, very simple design. And I wanted to show you. See, it works up in these really very, very pretty ways. It uses a fingering weight yarn. I'm a little nervous about that, but we're going to do it and have fun. So this was the one that got me, this image right here. I was like, oh, that looks so pretty. Let's see. I want to show you real quick. Yeah. Over 3,400 projects. Okay. There was one I want. Here it is. So this is really pretty. So I thought, it's technically a shawl. It's thin enough you could make it a scarf, and you can wear it as a scarf or you can wear it as a shawl. So it's one of those situations. And it is not terrible on the yardage. Here's another version where they use gold and green, which is really pretty. So yeah, so I think that'll be neat. Okay, so it uses 665 yards of a fingering weight. You need two in two colors. And so I have ordered my colors for that. And they are Malabrigo, because I'm a Malabrigo addict now. And so those are coming in. I should have that this week, and I will show you in our next opening of the mail. But I think this will be really cute. And I got enough to do a couple versions of it, because it's a simple shawl. And it's really popular right now. A lot of people are doing it. It's a skill builder. And I thought, if it's easy enough to make, then I'll definitely want to do a couple of versions of it where I can give some things to some friends. And, I'm trying to build up that gift stash, because that's where I'm at these days. I'd rather spend the money on yarn and put the time and energy into making something and letting people know that, like, hey, I was thinking about you and I made this thing, right? Like, that really matters. And I'm finding that I appreciate that stuff more as I've gotten older. So I thought this would be an easy enough pattern. And I follow a podcast called Needles at the Ready, which is this really cute gay couple that are married, and they do knitting stuff together, and they travel and buy yarn, and it's just super cute. And they like slightly bicker like a married couple, and it's adorable. And they're both adorable. And so the whole thing's just very fun. And they drop an episode of their show like every 2 weeks. And so they do a make along, and in their make along right now, this is the pattern they picked. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to jump on, and I'm going to see how this goes. And hopefully it is not destined for failure. We'll find out. So that is happening. I'll be casting on the next probably 2 weeks. So this is really fun. I wanted to share this with you. This is a free pattern you can get right now if you are a knitter. It's also a pattern that is really easy. And so it's a good skill building one. And it takes 600 yards of a DK weight. I have yarn coming in for this from I'll let you know who. I'm sure you're going to be shocked when you find out, but I've got yarn coming in to do this. And I'm really excited about it because it's going to be pretty full. But this is really neat. So this is called the Boneyard Shawl, and it's inspired by the shawls that women would wear when they would go to the cemetery. And so it's a really simple, I think it's supposed to be like a 7-row or 8-row repeat, and it should be not difficult to produce. And I hear a lot of people have a great time, like they enjoy it doing it. So that's Steven. And so here we go. So there's a lot of possibilities with it, and I think it's going to be fun. So I have yarn coming from that. Actually, I'll just go and tell you. I have yarn coming from Arcane Fiberworks I finally got the Foggy Forest. So I finally got the Foggy Forest. I got it. So I got Foggy Forest in gray, and like a matching gray. So I'm going to break that up and then do the Boneyard Shawl. So I'm really excited about that. So if you're interested in that, I will be making it. I will be talking about it, and we can do that together. I would love to have a craft buddy. But this is a really easy pattern. It's only 600 yards and a needle 0.7 and DK weight yarn. So DK weight, this whole thing can be made for like $6, right? So pretty cool. Beautiful, beautiful piece. I'm excited about that. So that's happening again. Free pattern. Okay, so let's talk. So there are, there's shawls. So I am gonna make. I'll show you this real quick. We're gonna go over time more than I was expecting. I really want to make this. So this is probably what I'm just gonna do this week. Matt has been asking me for us just a simple beanie forever, and I'm just gonna do it. I think this is gonna be the one that I do. And I've got some. I think I'm gonna use the Malabrigo Plomo for this, but it's super cute. So it should be easy. Yeah, 190 yards. That'll take like an hour, maybe 2 hours. So I'm gonna do that this week, or at least try. We'll see. I'm hoping that I get a break in my projects that I can do stuff like this. But that's a thing I'm really wanting to do. The other thing, I think that's it for that. Okay, so I have been on a sweater kick, right? And we talked about this last week where I was like, hey, I want to make a sweater. I just don't know where to go. I actually been talking about it for a couple of weeks. So I found some patterns that I'm really excited about, and I'm not quite sure which one to go with. So I'm asking you all for your opinion. Comment below, and then next week or the week after, when we do another big roundup of fiber stuff, which probably will be sometime next week, we'll go through that and then we'll talk about it, because I do want to start getting the stuff, because making a sweater takes a long time and a lot of yarn, and I have to order the yarn and figure out what I want and all that kind of fun stuff. So first one that I will say is just, it's up on my top 3 possibilities. It's called Single Malt. And this is by Maxim Cyr from Canada. Really simple. It seems really easy to do. I hear good things about the pattern. Very classic kind of design. Looks good, I think, in just about every color. And I am not a small guy, like when it comes to my body shape, my shoulders, things like that. So finding like the right type of thing that can breathe and grow with me, I think is an important thing too. And this looks like I can do so. I mean, any size guy, I think, could pull this off. I'm like a large, kind of dancing around an extra large, depending on what day it is. And so I think something like this would look really sharp. And I like how easy that stitch looks. So this has several thousand makes. And I hear good things. So this is that. So it's single malt. Remember that one. Okay. The next one is this one. This is Bibliophile. And this looks just amazing. So, and I mean, yeah, right. It looks great on this guy. I don't know. I don't have his body type necessarily, so I don't know if it would look great on me. But I like that the collar is tight. I don't like when they're like. I mean, I'll probably make a couple where they have like a white collar like this, but I just feel like that's a weird look. I feel like a Kardashian. So having something like, closer around the neck, I enjoy that. And it's a unisex pattern, so anybody can wear it, but it just looks really good on a masculine body. And I like the shoulders, I like the neck. So this is something I really enjoyed. I saw that it is looks, like I said, it looks great on him. But I saw that it what was it? Yeah, DK weight. So I think that's doable. I think that's really doable. I like that one. So again, this is Bibliophile. So remember, single malt and Bibliophile. Okay. And the next one, where'd it go? Okay, so now we're going to get into cardigan territory. And so this is the Whoopa. And this is made by Tina. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name. She is a Scandinavian crocheter who has been like crocheting since she was like 3. And she's a little bit older than me. And she is one of the most skilled people. And I mean, amazing things. And she makes really beautiful pieces, especially when it comes to wearables. And so this is one of her wearables that she made. It is a big ass cardigan. And let me see, things aren't loading right. And and there's multiple sizes. So here it is on a child. So yeah, so see how long you can make it, and I'm here for that. And of course, it looks great on this Norwegian guy who's probably like 7 foot tall. But I just, you know me, I like my oversized things. And as we talked about last time, we were talking about cardigans. If I make a cardigan, I want it to be like comfy, right? So this is, I'm kind of thinking these are all like really dark photos, but this is a crochet piece. So whereas everything else I've shown you so far is knitting, this is a crochet piece. And I like the length. I like the way it looks. Let me see. Let me open up some projects. There's only 414 projects to it, but let me see. There was one that I wanted to show you. This one. Really pretty. So there it is in green. That's probably what I would do. Either do a gray or a green. I think it looks nice. It's all about how you wear it, I think, more than anything. And I like it. So think about that. That's the Whoopa. Right. And then the last one that I wanted to show you that I was like kind of excited about is this guy. And this is another Maxim Sear piece. I have seen so one of the guys in the Needles of the Ready podcast, he made this and it looks really good. It looks sharp. Like I think he made like almost identical color choices too for this. That's Maxim. That's the designer. So it's a cardie, but it's not a traditional cardie in that there aren't really buttons, although I'm sure you could put buttons on it or whatever. But it's more of an open shirt, and it just kind of gives me like Star Trek vibes. And I'm here for that. But okay, so let's just look at that real quick. So I like the sleeves. I like the patterning. Where did the image of his back go? Here it is. So look at that. That neckline, that looks doable. It also looks like it won't pull weird, and I'm here for that. And it's not super thick. So most of the time when you see like knit pieces and there's a neckline, it's like really freaking thick in order to like, because you're pulling your head in and out of it. That's why you have big ass thick like pieces of stuff around your neck. But so that's what they like to reinforce that whole area. So I like that you don't have to do that because it's a cardie. So you don't have this like 3-inch piece of wool around your neck. So that's cool. So I'm here for that. And I just think it could look good in almost any color choice. Here it is in a lighter color. That looks sharp. Friends, does that not look sharp? Like I could show up to a conference wearing something like that and just go, right? Black shirt underneath. I'd probably pick different colors. But yeah, so I really like it. It looks light but warm. Here it is in brown, and it's a unit. I mean, it's made for men, but totally unisex pattern. Anybody could wear it. Let me see. I wonder if Kevin put his pictures up on here. See, I think that's nice. So those seem like easy-ish projects to kind of get going on. I think there actually was one more sweater I wanted to show you. No, we'll stop there. We'll stop there for now. Okay. So out of the 3 sweaters, so we had the Bibliophile, which was this one. Again, so it has that thick neck because you have to reinforce the neck, right? So the Bibliophile, and then there was the single malt, the bumpy. These are the 4. Let's go over them real quick. So you've got the Bibliophile. We've got the single malt, which doesn't have that big ass thick neck, but the neck is wider. So keep that in mind. And then we've got the bumpy and then the whoopa. So which one do you think I should throw in on? What am I going to cast on? What do you think, guys? I'm going to follow you. We're going to do this together. It is very scary. A sweater. Oh my God. And I don't want it to look like ass. So that's a very important. That's why I'm asking, right? That's why I'm asking. So what do you think? Should we go with the Bibliophile, single malt, bumpy, or whoopa? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Okay. So that's all I have to say about that. I'm excited. I think it's time. I also think it's going to take a minute. Yeah, Steven is absolutely adorable. I'm just now catching all of the comments here. Yes, I would agree. Steven West is attractive. His partner looks like Fabio, but like as a bear. So if you like could imagine like a bear Fabio, which hello, and Canadian, like but French Canadian, so he's got that accent, and it's a whole thing. Very excited. You should definitely check them out. Thank you for posting their link there, Ben. Yeah, so let me know what you think. I'm excited. I'm going to throw in, but here's the thing: sweaters are a lot more yarn than y'all think they are. I was shocked to learn that how much yarn a sweater actually is, especially if you're knitting it. And so it's an investment just from the fiber, but it's also an investment from the time and all of it. So, and I will finish it. It will drive me nuts. It might take me 9 months, but I will finish it one way or another, and I'm excited about it. So, what do you think I should do? Which pattern? And again, let me know if you have garden questions or plant questions, and I will happily answer them next week. So put those in the comments below too. All right. So I think that's it for this week. I have to get ready for a presentation that I'm doing for Botanica Obscura in about 50 minutes. So I need to get off here and get ready for that. And then I need to get to writing. But I really enjoyed this. I enjoy hanging out with you once a week where we just get to do this and hang out. And I just enjoy you all so much. So thank you for being here. And I keep your eye out. There's big announcements this week. Huge announcements this week. Things that have been brewing and I've been waiting forever to share with you. I will get to start sharing with you. I'm really excited. If you see me pop up with videos, you definitely want to watch them because there is cool stuff, including giveaways. So I don't want to say that too loud because some AI bot will grab it and then like start posting crap in the comments. But we have things to do. Yes, things to share with you and mail to you for free. We've got those things. So anyway, lots of love. Again, I will see you next week. Please keep it awesome. Stay true to yourself. It is a new moon. Set new intentions. Ground yourself. Get your eye on the prize. Focus. You got this. See you next week.